Hi guys, it's Angie with Fun Endeavors Tie-Dye Lab. Today let's make a neck fan fold shirt. When people have seen these that I've done, I've heard them refer to them as necklace design shirts. I'm starting off with the shirt turned inside out, and I'm going to straighten it out a little bit and begin my fan folds right at the neck of the shirt. I'm actually not going to draw any kind of a line. I'm going to use that seam or the banding around the neck of the shirt as my line for fan folding. Once I have this area fan folded, I'm going to tie it with some kite string. On either side of the area that I fan folded, I'm going to straighten the folds and tie a little ways with the kite string as well. Going toward the neck or the tag part of the shirt, I'm going to go ahead and tie that entire area up, but I'm only going to tie part way going the other direction. When I gravity dye, the area that I tie is the area that's going to have a more defined design. And I'd like for this defined design to come down a little bit onto the front of the shirt. The area that I'm going to leave untied is the area that's going to be more free-flowing and the softer gravity dyed design. So if you like a little bit more of the defined fan fold, tie your shirt a little further down. And if you'd like a little bit more of the free-flowing gravity design, then don't tie quite as much. It's really a personal preference. I recently made a gravity spiral using some of these dark horse dyes, and I had a customer ask if I would do this design using those dyes. So that's what I'm choosing. I'm choosing some dark horse dyes, and then I've added an additional dark horse dye in to use toward the bottom portion of the shirt. So for my gravity dye setup, I have my shirt outside on a metal rack or shelving unit, and I have the tied portion on top and the untied portion hanging over the edge. I'm going to start right at the very top, or what is like the neck portion of the shirt, with Sultry from Dye Spin. Like I said, these are all dark horse dye colors from Dye Spin, and they're intended especially for ice dyeing, so they have really cool color splits. If you go to purchase some of these out on Dye Spin's website, they have them under a special area on their website. They're not in with the regular dyes. Then I'm applying Elysian, followed by Candy Pop, and lastly, I'm going to use Moody Blue. After I have all the dye on the shirt, I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of additional dry soda ash over the top, and then add on some pretty large chunks of ice. I've made these chunks of ice in some food prep containers, and I think the larger chunks, with as hot as it is here, are great. It's been about 94 to 95 degrees Fahrenheit, and the larger chunks of ice just work a little bit better. They don't melt quite as quickly, and I don't have to use an ice barrier. I came back after this chunk of ice melted and added about 2 more. It only took them probably an hour to an hour and a half to melt completely. I've added a few process photos so that you can see how the ice melted and the dye moved down the shirt. I'm also doing another shirt on the other end of this shelving unit at the same time, so I took a photo to show you my setup. Before I added the third layer of ice, I went ahead and misted the shirt very gently or lightly with a little bit of soda ash solution. Because it is so hot today, I wanted to make sure that part that was hanging down didn't dry out. Then, after this third layer of ice melted, I went ahead and took the shirt and placed it down inside of a plastic tote that has a metal rack in the bottom. I also placed the shirt that was on the other end of the shelving unit down inside of the same tote. The shirts are not touching and they're both up off of the bottom of the container, so there's not going to be any dye transfer between the two shirts. Then I placed the lid, which is opaque, on top of this container, and I left it outside in the shade for about 24 hours. Like I said, it was really warm this day, and I wanted to make sure that these gravity dyes didn't dry out. If I just left them outside underneath the trees, because we do have quite a bit of wind today, and because it is as hot as it is, the dye would dry out in the shirts. If it's been hot enough, it doesn't really matter because the dye's probably bonded very well with the shirt before it dried out. But just to make sure, I placed the shirts in containers and allowed them to process a little bit longer. I want really pretty, vibrant colors. To rinse the shirt, I took it to my utility sink and I began rinsing it in cold water to rinse out the soda ash. I untied the shirt, then warmed the water up to hot and continued rinsing in hot water to rinse out the excess dye that didn't bond with the fabric. I don't like to rinse for a long time. Instead, I like to run some really hot water in my utility sink, add a little bit of Blue Dawn dish detergent to the water, place the shirt inside, and just allow it to soak. When the water cools off, I change it out and I continue that soaking process until my water is remaining almost clear. I also soaked the shirt that was at the other end of the shelving unit along with this one at the same time. When the water was remaining almost clear, I placed the shirts along with some Dharma's Professional Textile Detergent into my washing machine and washed them using a hot water cycle. Okay, so this shirt has been washed, dried, and ironed, and let's see how it looks. Okay, so what do you guys think? I think this one turned out really pretty. I love all the color splits that are streaking down the shirt in the gravity dyed portion. I think that looks really cool. The sultry isn't quite as prominent on the front side of the shirt as it is the back, since that was the color that I placed right up at the neck portion. The sultry and Elysian kind of run into each other in that area, and then the more bright hot pink color is the Candy Pop, followed by the Moody Blue, which is kind of got that purpley blue color. But the splits are coming from lots of different places. I see some of the Elysian in that. I see some of the Moody Blue, some of the Candy Pop. Those color splits are streaking all the way down the shirt, which I think looks really cool. Now, you know I've mentioned before that if you really, really hate color speckles and flecks of color on your shirt, that gravity dye might not be the technique for you. And I think this shirt is a great example. If you look at the back of the shirt, I have quite a few color speckles at the back lower portion of the shirt. And, you know, there's really not a huge way to avoid that sometimes. Like I said, the day that I did this shirt, it was pretty windy, and that dye just latches onto those damp shirts. So, I mean, I could try to make it some sort of a wind barrier, but honestly, I just don't think it'll help. I personally don't mind the speckles. I think they actually look pretty cool on designs like this. So I don't mind them. But like I said, if you're somebody that really hates speckles, gravity dye might not be for you, or you probably need to do a setup inside somewhere. But overall, I love this shirt. I think it is really pretty. I love the color splits, love the dye movement. But what do you guys think? Please drop me some comments down below and let me know. And this is part of my Will It Gravity Dye series, and I think this one definitely will. I think this is a great design for gravity dyes. So if you've enjoyed this video, I sure would appreciate it if you would like it, and if you'd subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you'll hit the bell, you'll receive a notification whenever I upload a new video. Thank you all for watching, and I hope you have a great day.